Guitar Martin here. I'm doing a lesson today on Iron Maiden's song Powerslave, which is the title track off an album by the same name. And I'm going off the remastered, I think it was 2015 remastered version of that album. All right, now, so what I'm going to show you today are the rhythm guitar parts to the song. Now, the way I divide it up, I'm dividing it into 10 different rhythm guitar parts. Now, it's not that there's multiple rhythm guitar parts playing at the same time. I mean, sometimes there are two rhythm guitars, but they're not significantly different from each other. Now, but what I'm saying is that there's different sections of the song. So what I'm calling part one is the verses, which is the song starts out with the verses, is what I played at the beginning. And then there's what I call the instrumental pre-chorus. It's an instrumental section between the verse and the chorus. And then there's the chorus, the rhythm guitar part beyond the chorus section. Then we have a bass guitar solo, which overlaps with a softer, slow lead guitar solo. So it's kind of a duet in a way, or a trio, even if you count the rhythm guitar part. So, and I divide that into two sections. So there's those first half and the second half of that first slow solo. Then there's a faster solo. Then there's a double lead section, which doesn't actually have any rhythm guitar at all, because both of the guitar players in the band are playing a double lead, a harmonized double lead part. And it's more or less thirds. I haven't figured that part all out yet, but I'm not teaching that part because it's not really rhythm guitar, not in this video. So follow-on video will address the lead sections and the actual lead guitar parts. So let's see. That was now we're up to section 5 if I counted right. No, 6, because all right. So let's see. The verses, pre-chorus, chorus, first half of slow solo, second half of slow solo. Then there's the fast lead guitar. Then there's the double lead part, which we're not showing any rhythm guitar part because there isn't any. And then there's another fast section, which I think is the same part though, so not counting that. But then there's like a transition from the whole instrumental section. I call it a soli sometimes, S-O-L-I. It's like, because it's really like a trio, or the bass, the two guitars are playing together. So as a solo, each of them are kind of soloing. So anyway, but so there's that transition section from the whole instrumental section back into the third verse. Then there's a big finish ending, which is like a false ending. And then there's another big finish ending, which is the real ending. So those are the 10 sections I'm counting. Any rate, so let's show you how to play each of these sections. All right. So we're going to start out like this. Now look, we could do it here with the first finger like this, or second finger. Your choice. I mean, because we're going to go into, from here we're going to go into an A-shaped C chord and an A-shaped B-flat chord. So sometimes I just do this with the second finger. Okay, so we're letting this, we're doing a palm mute over here, but it's not staccato. It's not. There's not separation between the notes like that. And you could do it with your first finger too. So now that second to last note, which I flubbed a little bit that last time, is short. So it's that's short with a mini rest in there between the A and the C, and also another mini rest between the A and the B flat. So that's kind of staccato, that last note. All right, then it does this. Now, I listened to an isolated bass track since I made the bass video. Maybe I should have listened to it before I made the bass video, but at any rate. So, and he's playing all kinds of different things there. I think he's trying to do what the guitar player was trying to do. I'm not sure they ever really made up their mind exactly how they're going to play that riff, to be quite honest. So, you know, because I hear this, and sometimes I hear either where it does an extra note and a like that, a double note there, or even, and I can't tell. I mean, if I had an isolated part of that guitar alone, I could figure it out. On the other hand, he doesn't always do that extra note either, so he's not 100% consistent with it on the recording. So it's so you can play this. Sorry, it starts on. Now you can either start with your pinky and do it all on the 5th and 4th strings, or you can start with your second finger and do it all on the 5th and 6th strings. So I watched some videos and I saw guys do this. Well, that's fine, but if I'm the only guitar player, or the only guitar player playing that part, I need to go into an open A chord. So I won't play the A there, I'll play it on the chord, right? Of course, some people maybe play it here. But I don't think they're doing that. I think it's open. I think it's like this. My ears hear it down there. Okay, I hear that voicing here, not this voicing here. So, but I mean, you could go. But I hear this. So, I mean, it sounds very similar, of course. They are the same chords. And essentially the same voicings. The difference is the timbre, because we have different types of strings. I mean, we've got an unwound string here, and these are all thinner and longer, and these are all shorter and fatter. So it has a little different sound, just like the difference between a clarinet and a trumpet, which is called timbre, T-I-M-B-R-E, not like timber of a tree falling. All right, now, so that's the first section. So shoot, I sometimes play it here. I would be more apt to play it here. It's harder though. It's physically hard. It's harder, but it lines you up better for the A chord. Plus, I have a feeling that might be where they're playing it, but I don't really know. And I didn't look at the live video on that to see what they're doing live. Okay, now the next section I call a instrumental pre-chorus. There's no words to it, but it is kind of like a pre-chorus. It's an instrumental interlude between the verse and the chorus. And so now they're playing a lot of 5 chords, but the first chord I hear clearly as a full open E minor chord. All 6 strings. And then there's a C minor, and then a A flat minor, and this is probably mostly just a 5. They might not be playing the 3rd at all in the F. But frankly, I hear them all as minor chords. But if it's what some people call a power chord, which is just the 1 and the 5, and then the 1 an octave higher, well, there is no 3rd, so there's no way to know if it's major or minor, right? But I do hear it minor, and so you can play this part. You can play the C here if you want, and just play it as a 5, or you could play it as a minor. But we're not going to ring that. If we play this as a minor here, we're not going to really ring that second string much, if at all. And then we go to here, and again, it's mainly a 5 chord. But if you let that 3rd ring out, I would say go with a minor 3rd, not a major 3rd. And the lead's doing some different things there too. It's doing that half step thing. All right, so and then F. So, but I hear a slide down too, and you could do a full chord here. I hear that. You could also do a second part if you had 2 guitars and do it really light. You could do it up here, so you could go E minor, and then the top 4 strings, and that's a C minor to an A flat minor, or G sharp minor really would be in this key with sharps. And I'm not sure it hits the F chord like the one of the rhythm guitar hits the F chord. This one definitely the F's hit down here, right, as the penultimate chord of that little progression. But if you listen on the bass part, and I didn't get this right in the video, does not play the F at all. The bass does this, and he's flicking his fingers. He lets the guitar do the F chord. Anyway, but you could do part here. But if you do it, I'd say put this way lower in the mix than the lower chord rhythm part. Bum, bum. Might just be doing that if it's even doing this at all. E minor, C minor, A minor, or G sharp minor, and maybe it plays the F minor, maybe it doesn't. And I'm like, is it this? I don't think so. I think it's this. So the safest way is to leave the third out altogether, I guess, because it is low in the mix if it's even there. All right, so now that gets us to the chorus, right? And the chorus, there's two rhythm guitars on the chorus. They're doing almost the same thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure one's doing this. E minor, open E minor, all 6 strings, then a C chord and with the third. It might not be playing the 5th here on the 1st string, but it's playing the middle 4 strings for sure. And it's in a A-shaped C major. And then a D major, same thing. And then there's this 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Okay? So now another guitar is doing this. And then like the louder in the mix guitar, I think, is doing this. Okay, so they're very, very close to the same thing. So now let me show you this. If you use one finger, 1 fret, start with the first finger over the 2nd fret, the pinky over the 5th fret, it's open E, and we're palm muting over here, and a 1 E. We actually hammer on the E, and that's when we go to the new note is on E. And a 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3, and a 4. And there's a glissando there. So it's like this. Okay, and the only difference between that and the lead part that I can hear and it's hard to distinguish this. I don't have isolated mixes of every track. But I think I hear one guitar doing a full strum to E minor. And just holding it while the other one's chugging in the background along with the bass. And the bass has something pretty complicated on there that I didn't get the details of. And I'm going to hopefully do a supplemental video to get the details of what the bass is doing. It's doing something complicated. And I thought for a while that we were doing this. When it was doing the C, it was going, but it's not. That's something that is happening on the 1st string of the bass guitar. So, anyway. Okay, so now, the next section, it slows down, and it slows down on counts 3 and 4 with the beginning of the bass guitar solo, which goes boom, bum, bum. So, this is like, the song starts out at about 134 beats per minute. And then it slows down here, then it speeds back up to faster, and then it speeds back up to faster. But it doesn't gradually speed up and gradually slow down. It's an artistic on-purpose thing where they actually, different sections are different speeds. Different sections of the solo are different speeds, and they're different speed than the verses and the chorus. Now, when they come back to the verse, the first section I showed you, there's an interlude section in between there, but when they come back to that verse, they're at about 136 beats per minute. Now, did they mean to speed up 2 beats per minute? Probably not, but it's pretty dang close. All right, so anyway, so let me show you the rhythm guitar part that happens behind the bass solo section, and it overlaps a guitar solo section, and I'm not doing the lead guitars in this video, like I said, and that'll be another video. Okay, now, so you start with a B minor chord. If you play an open A minor, open, and then the C, first fret, second string, second fret, third string, that's an A minor. But to play a bar chord, you got to rearrange your fingers. So we're going to use open first string, second string, first fret with the second finger. Then we're going to take our pinky onto the third string, second fret, and our third finger onto the fourth string, second fret. If we move that up 1, 2 frets, which is called a whole step, then we bar strings 5 through 1, and we mute the sixth string with the tip of our finger is touching this. So if we accidentally hit the sixth string, it won't sound. So then you do a picking pattern like this, and I just turned on the chorus ensemble CE5 boss pedal, and I got this on some chorus setting that's close. So I didn't try to match their chorus settings exactly, but anyway, it's a clean sound with chorus, that I believe. So we're starting on the fifth string with down, down on the fifth and fourth, then up, up on second and third. It does that over and over. So it's now the bass does this. And there's more time in between those, but it alternates between those two things. The bass does that. Does the guitar copy it? I can't tell. And I don't know if the engineer like even muted out the rhythm guitar for a split part of a beat or something. I'm not sure what he's doing for sure there, but I mean, it's basically this. I think he does this all the time, even if the bass does. Now the second half of the solo is slightly different. So the first half is just this B minor over and over, and I'm pretty sure it's doing exactly this the whole time. And I think that does that for 16 measures, I think. Either 8 or 16. But then it goes to a little bit more upbeat, not necessarily faster, bass section, and the guitar gets a little more involved, but I'd still call it the softer section of the guitar solo. And so then we're walking down B, A, G, B, G, A, B. So it's like this. Let's see, how many times I do it? 1, 2. Now, does the guitar actually do this? Maybe, or maybe it keeps arpeggiating, or maybe one keeps arpeggiating and another track is doing that. So, let's see. And have my number of reps correct? I'm not sure I do, but I think it's a measure on the B. Let's see. It's twice as long on the B as the other two chords, I think. No, it's just 2, I think. I might just do this. Now that's a G major 7 chord, by the way. You can think, okay, this is a B minor with a B in the bass. This is a B minor 9, or B minor add 2 with an A in the bass. And this is a B minor with a G in the bass, or really it's a G major 7. But I think that he does this. I don't think he lets that G ring the whole time through the chord. Because generally a G major 7 sounds kind of strange in a heavy metal song. But I mean, there are some bands that do it, but any rate, and it sounds more dissonant. Okay, so those, I'm calling those two separate sections, even though it's really, rhythm guitar part is really just one section, you know. Does this over and over, over and over. And then about halfway through that part of this guitar solo, and keep arpeggiating. All right, so then then there's a faster guitar solo, and there's a different rhythm guitar part behind it. Okay, and it goes what does it do? Oh yeah, here we go. Now here again, you can play it here with the A-shaped bar chords on the 2nd fret and open, or you can play it up here with bar chords, and they probably have 2 tracks and they're doing it, one track's doing it one way and one track's doing the other way. I think that's probably what's happening, but sometimes, especially the later, the 2nd and 3rd time they do it, I hear it more clearly here, in even using open chords. Here, if you're going to do this, it's just an A chord on the strings 4, 3, and 2. So I'm only doing the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string there. And then this E, D, C sharp, A. Now it does play that, those single notes. They're low in the mix, but they are there, and it's more the bass doing that, and it's the same part as the bass part. And you can play it here, which is 5th string 7th fret, E, D, C sharp, these fingers 4, 2, 1, then 2 on the A on the 5th, or you can do it here. I'm not sure they ever do it here. If they do, it's really light and probably muted the way I'm playing it, but I find it convenient to do it there if I'm doing this. And again, are they doing this and just lifting the first finger? Or are they doing the whole chord? I think they're doing the whole chord. And if you did it here, it'd be like this. An E-shaped bar chord A on the 5th fret. Oh no, it starts on B minor. It's actually B minor. So you lift your first finger up. But we're not hearing the 5th string so much. It's mainly the 5, 1. We don't hear that flat 3rd so much, but so you can play it there, and there may even be a guitar track doing that, especially the first time. It seems heavier, then it seems like there's only one guitar track the second time, but anyway. Now if I end on this chord, why would I switch to my pinky? I'm just getting my fingers right here on the E, so I just do this. You got to be careful that you get that to sound like this, because it's not a slur, it's not a glissando. It's not that. They're distinct notes. You don't hear the fingers crossing the fret. You can use the same finger, or you can do this. Or just do the pinky. Which again you can play here. Yeah, that's kind of hard. hard to switch here, but you can do that. It's fast, so you got to really make a reach so you can get back between the chords quick. So it's all right. So then there's what I call the transition section, which I think we're up to maybe part 7 or something. I numbered in the beginning of the video, and I came out with 10 different parts. But there's this, we got the transition section, then we're going to repeat the verse and the chorus, and then we're going to do ending 1 and ending 2, which are 9 and 10. So maybe this transition section is actually 8, and the section 7 was the part I just showed you. But this ends with this. Oh, by the way, the last time it does that, each time it gets to the D early. So it's like, it does it 4 times each. Third time. 4th time. And it goes right to that D. And I messed the timing up. Well, let's see if I can do the last time right now. Oh, shoot. And then, okay. But the very last time it goes, see, it does a staccato note on the D one time, then it jumps to the F. So the second time the rhythm does this part, it then transitions into the next verse by doing this. So I'll do the last rep. Oh no, it only does it once, so. You hear that? There's a rest in there. It's like a 16th note with a 16th rest, or an 8th note with an 8th rest, or something like that. 1, 2, breathe. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, breathe. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, breathe. F natural. Okay? Then it goes into the third verse, which should be a tempo or original tempo. And like I said, they're about 2 beats faster than the beginning of the song. But so let's do that part. It doesn't do da-da-da. Come on, buddy. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, stop. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, so this is an A-shaped F chord on the 8th fret, and then it goes right into the half step lower into the E, and then we keep the same form, an A-shaped major chord, but now we're playing a D sharp on the 6th fret and going to D, and then we go down to C, and we play C, B on frets 3 and 4 with the first finger I'm talking, 3, 2. Then we play an F5 chord, just the lower 3 strings, and then we go into the third verse, which is just like the beginning of the song. Or you can do it the simple way and leave the before the out. All right. All right. And then my pinky's kind of damaged, so I was doing it with 3rd and 2nd finger instead of these 2 fingers. So figure out what works best for you. All right, now, So then it does this again, right? Breathe. Anyway, but it does the chorus, right? But then he goes, Powerslave. It does the Powerslave 2 extra times. The vocalist does the Powerslave 2 extra times. The first time it just does regular, just C, D. And this, I sometimes want to go, but it doesn't do that. So it's C, D. I don't think it does that anywhere in the song. But then the very last time it goes, like the third extra, it does 2 extra times. So the second extra time and the very last time it sings Powerslave at this chorus, it goes, or slave to the power of death. Slave to the power of It hits this chord once. Slave to the power of. It hits the D 3 times. It only does that the very last time. Slave to the power of death. This is like the first big ending, and I'm muting the third string. I absolutely do not hear a third major or minor there. So I'm touching the third string with my first finger and strumming all 6. And the vocalist is singing, and the drummer's drumming, and then the drummer goes blap or something, and everybody does this together. So that's what I'm calling section 9, big finish 1. So, but it's 5th fret. I'm using my pinky on the 5th fret, then my third finger on the 4th fret. So it's A, G sharp, A, then B is B, A string, 2nd fret B, A, G sharp, then F chord. It goes right into the chord. And it doesn't do the hammer pull off. There's no trill there like earlier in the song. And also this is played in a different place because remember we're doing it here. But this one time in the song, it starts starting on a D, it starts on an A, and it doesn't do the trill. So it's, and it ends on the F chord. I'm just doing an F5. F, C, F. That's it. Just those 1, 3. And again, I think they're muting the third here. Then the lead guitar does this part, which is really cool. So I'll show it to you. So if you're using one finger, but I think he's doing an octave. So he's using his first finger here. He's skipping 2 strings, and he's 3 frets higher. He's using his pinky there. And it goes a first finger only, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. So wait. Let me get this right. I'm gonna play it with the octaves. So it's. I'm going to pick it all just so it sustains, but most, if not all of it, is just done with sustain by sliding. He only picks it once, maybe 2 or 3 times, and very lightly. You can't hear the picking so much, but I'm going to pick each one with this. That's how it goes. Let me see if I can say the frets and still play it right. I'm going to say the frets on the 4th string of the first finger. 2, 3, 2, 3, 6, 3, 6, 7, 10, that's what I played. Let me play it again. So when you slow it down, sometimes it's hard to remember what you're doing. That's how it ends. So again. So, those are all the rhythm guitar parts as best as I can figure out. And now I'm going to watch my own video. Then I'm going to watch some other people's videos. So I did this. I watched a little bit when I was just looking to see what's out there. And I saw like people going over the verse section. And I learned the whole bass part. Then I listened to an isolated bass track, and I realized that there's a couple details I need to clear up. But you know, you can play what I showed you, and it'll work just fine. But maybe I can get a couple more details on the bass, and also I've heard, and you hear that recording, that isolated bass recording, you can understand why it's hard to figure stuff out, because it's like, anyway, I don't want to criticize the great guys who, he's an amazing bass player. I'm extremely impressed with how great he plays live. The bass player for Iron Maiden plays live just fantastically, and the whole band does. They have an incredibly powerful and tight live performance. So I have nothing bad to say about those guys. And you know, in the studios, it's like you got money people, especially back then, when it was a lot more expensive to do recording, and that are pressuring them. So, you know, I'm sure they were not 100% satisfied with the final cut. But, you know, when the mix all comes together, you can't hear any inconsistencies or slop. It sounds great. It sounds fantastic. That remastered album sounds fantastic. I haven't listened to the original album, to be quite honest. But at any rate, so, okay. Anyway, I hope you have a good time with that, and I hope that helps you a lot. Do not hesitate to make comments. Please check the comments section, because I'm going to later go back and I'm going to time stamp certain sections, so that if you want to jump just to one part, you don't have to wade through the whole thing or keep doing this and try to find it. You know, if you go to the comments section, I'll have some time stamp, and I'll say, okay, this is where I show you how to do the transitional section between the solo sections and the third verse, for example, or this is big finish 1, this is big finish 2, that kind of thing. All right? Okay, please, if you haven't already, listen, first of all, I want to thank everybody who's subscribed to the channel, everybody who's watching, especially anybody who's made it all the way to the end of this video, and appreciate your patronage of my channel, and you know, I mean, hopefully you're doing it because I'm providing a benefit for you, and so I really appreciate the subscriptions, especially, which will never cost you any money. I could offer a club membership later for exclusive content or something. That I may do that, but a subscription is not going to force you into that. So, subscriptions help a lot. Likes help. Sharing helps. Sharing and encouraging other people to subscribe. All that stuff helps tremendously. So, comments, and like I said, again, read the comments, because maybe I'll go back and say, "Oops." Really, you should do this. But I was really conscientious with this. I think this is a really accurate transcription. Very, very, very accurate transcription. I didn't look at anyone's tabs. I didn't look at anyone else's videos. And I will, though, and follow up and see if I think I made any mistakes. All right, take care now.